Throwing a snake on somebody? No, that ain't happening.
Oh my God!
He tried to kill that fool.
Yeah. First off, he threw a cobra at him. It wasn't just a snake; that was a cobra. So he's like, oh shit!
I just came here to win some prize money.
He drove his ass off a cliff.
But he threw a cobra on his ass, so he was gonna die one way or the other.
Go ahead and get your tickets for Double Toasted Live in Atlanta. You press that banner right there. It'll take you to x1entertainment.com. And over there you can get your tickets for Double Toasted Live in Atlanta for a night of comedy, games, and our after party. That's going to be September 2nd. Let's get into our bad movie roast that we have this evening. Now, before we start anything, let's keep in mind that some people are not very happy about the bad movie roast that we're doing tonight, even though you're the ones who voted on it. You had other choices. You had other options. No one forced you to vote on this movie right here.
He's just trying to scare you, son.
What you do behind the wheel of a race car has nothing to do with business.
People, this is Speed Racing. People were so excited back in the day when they found out that the directors of The Matrix, the Wachowskis, now known, the Wachowski brothers, now known as the Wachowski sisters. Back then, they still had the dicks, and they directed this movie.
God damn.
All right, that's not nice. But hey, they had this. They came in and people were so excited to see what they would do with this very popular anime property right here. Because at the time, a lot of you weren't born at the time. This is 2008. Some of you were just babies. Some of you were small kids. But some other people were old enough to remember when the actual show was over here in America. This was like late 60s.
67.
67 when Speed Racer came over. As I said, of course, this is based on the very, very popular Japanese anime series.
Here comes Speed Racer.
He's a demon on wheels. I swear, man, that song was like half the reason why this show was so popular. Because that was a groovy tune, cat.
Oh, absolutely.
Loved it. Yeah, this is a whole episode I have right here, but this was based on the lead character, Speed Racer, of the Racer family. You know, you have Pops and Ma Racer and Chim the Chimp.
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
Chim and Spritle, his little brother.
Spritle, his little brother.
Sparky, his mechanic.
And his mysterious brother, maybe not brother, Racer X. And the whole thing was about racing. Look, today it looks kind of cheap, but back then it was just something cool about this show because even though it was very limited animation, it had just a very unique look to it.
Yeah, it had a unique look to it. It was all about the racing. Spies were involved.
It was all about racing, but there was always more going on because, it was a show. You can't just have races every week.
Hey, there we go. All right, I get serious now.
There were times when he looked bigger than that car. Like, how you fit in there? Like, look at this. Like, look.
Oh, yeah.
He looked like a dwarf in there. Something, man. All right, he's in a go-kart.
You know, somebody in Japan wrote that. Hey, his gun chased after someone. I guess.
But yeah, man, this was a very popular show at the time. So a lot of Gen X people, a lot of people who were in their 20s at the time, a lot of people were probably in their early 30s. That was the generation that was really looking forward to this movie. Now, I'm going to say something here about this film for all of you who are not pleased with our decision tonight. And that's not a lot of people because, like I said, y'all voted on this. But I watched this and you know what? Looking at this, man, I agree with the majority of people out there who said that, listen, we know the movie didn't do well. It wasn't well received by critics all around, but it ain't bad. Maybe it ain't great, but come on, y'all, it ain't a bad movie. You know, some people might think that, you know, but I saw it and I was like, you know what? Yeah, Martin does not like this at all. But I saw it and I was like, you know, as far as a bad, I would have rather done this as a retro review. Because looking at it, I was like, it might be bad to some, it might not be great. And some people, it has a huge cult following. So some people consider this like the underrated Wachowski movie. But as far as all of our other movies, after watching this, I was like, I don't think it's really that bad. Like as far as compared to the movies that we've been roasting. Like I look at this and I go through, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I didn't think it was a good choice for a bad movie roast. I mean, I don't like the movie at all, but in rewatching it, I have different feelings about it than I did back in the day. But I just, even watching it again, I was like, I just don't see this as a good choice for us for a bad movie roast.
No, I didn't think it was bad, and I'm not speaking for anybody but myself. I didn't think it was bad. I thought it did have some good ideas. It had a lot of ambition, but also that ambition led to a lot of problems with the film. I think it's a problematic film. When I say problematic, I mean, it just has some things in there that just kept it from meeting its potential. But I don't think it's a terrible movie at all, man. And definitely not one meant for a roast. It's an interesting thing that goes on with this film. See, we're going to talk about it. Now, and what I'll do is I'll talk about the things that I think they got right, the things that they did well. And I will talk about what, in my opinion, kept this from being a really good movie. Because I think the potential was there to make this something really, really special and very cool. But for me, it did not reach that. Now, for some other people, it has. And I can definitely see why this has a cult following. But interesting thing with this film, though, is that this movie was coming out on the tail end of an era of movies of this type. Because from the early 2000s going on to the late, the aughts, to up until close to 2010. It's almost like a little micro genre, man. There were all these movies that were shot entirely green screen.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and the thing that, I don't know if this started this, but when you think about it, the thing that you really want to attribute to that is Robert Rodriguez's Spy Kids. So that led to a lot of different things, man. And Robert Rodriguez was really one of the biggest proponents of this because then he came out with Sin City.
Right.
And after Sin City, you had Zack Snyder coming in and almost riding off the success of Sin City with another Frank Miller graphic novel, which was 300.
Right.
1,000 nations of the Persian Empire descend upon you. This is Sparta!
Black ass.
Oh, what I say?
Hey, man.
Just the messenger.
They gotta do it like that,
Well, I
man.
love when he kicked his black ass in that hole. That
He's like, pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it.
What did I do?
Somebody catch me, goddammit.
But
What year was Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow?
that was another one, man.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Wasn't that 2011?
Sky Captain in the World Tomorrow. I'll look it up right now, man.
be wrong.
Because that is, you're right, Martin. Everybody was really,
Like they thought this is going to be the new way. This is the way movies are going to be done from now on.
yeah. And so it was, and it was almost two modes. So you had the whole green screen thing going on with movies that had really fake looking CG, but were very colorful. And then you had the others that had no color at all.
Right.
And they had the Sin City look. So listen, you say what you will, but Robert Rodriguez was very influential with the whole green screen,
The movement.
the green screen movement, movies being shot with characters almost entirely on a green screen so that they could create these comic book feeling worlds.
Me today. Said someone was coming for us.
This world will end.
They've broken through the perimeter. Send reinforcements. Send everything you got.
Anybody remember when this movie came out?
I thought it was 2010 or 2011. I could.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
look.
Yeah, anybody remember when this came out? Because this was another one. And then people even saying, well, you had things like Sucker Punch.
2004.
2004.
Yeah, I thought it was early.
Yeah.
Okay. It was almost a fad. And then you had, let's not forget the several sequels of Spy Kids, and then you had
Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace. You had The Spirit.
Yeah.
George Lucas was. Everybody was really getting off on this new technology of digital filmmaking, and that's what really led to this too.
Yeah.
And Robert Rodriguez was a huge proponent of digital filmmaking. I remember one time he even said, film is dead, to the chagrin of many an auteur out there. But yeah, he started a whole movement with the green screen movement here, and the Wachowskis fell into it too with Speed Racer. This is a film that also is almost entirely shot on a green screen.
In a warehouse.
Yeah, exactly. And a whole lot of buckets of green paint. and we're watching this because of one movie also. Now, it had a lot in common with those green screen films, but this also has a lot in common with another film series out there that is huge right now. In fact, we're doing this because of one that is coming out right now.
Never accept death when suffering is owed.
It's a setup.
So as you can see, the similarities are already there. A bunch of crazy car stunts and driving. Also, this has another thing in common with the Fast and Furious series.
Haruko. Thank you.
I would say good luck Saturday, but you don't need it. You're already very lucky to have such a family.
I know. Family. Family is a big theme in Speed Racer. Also, with all the crazy car stunts and explosions and everything, I would say that the biggest difference between Speed Racer and the Fast and Furious, and I was telling Martin this earlier, is that the Fast and Furious, compared to this movie, well, Speed Racer is a lot more realistic. You know, you look at it. Speed Racer is, and the thing with Speed Racer is that we were talking about how these movies have so much in common.
They really do. I mean, besides the family stuff and the main character being the least interesting one out of everybody, the physics, you know, for or lack thereof, are almost the same.
I would say the difference is, and the reason why I say maybe realistic is, you know, I'm just saying that to be funny, but I would say that it fits better with Speed Racer because Speed Racer is more literal a cartoon. Yeah. You know, they're both cartoons and comic book movies.
One is a cartoon and the other one is Speed Racer.
Yeah. but Speed Racer literally is a cartoon. You know, they aim for a lot of animated aesthetics in this. Let's get into what I think it works with this film. Because like I said, looking at Speed Racer today, I really am enjoying certain parts of this. Like watching this at home, when I saw this in the theater, I did not like it. I was disappointed. And I really did have myself hyped up for the film because I thought they were doing a lot of stuff right that they showed in the trailer.
Mm-hmm. Trailers look good.
Yeah, the trailer had everybody excited. Mm-hmm. But upon seeing the film, of course, I thought different, and I would say I was disappointed. But watching it at home, now I don't know if I want to be watching this for 2 hours and 15 minutes, but watching it at home, I was like, well, you know what? I kind of have a different opinion about this movie now. And then, because I got to see it on a different eye. And we're not going to roast this, okay? So let me just say that first of all. We're not roasting this. We're just going to go in and just have a discussion about this film and try to make it as entertaining as we can. I thought that the casting was great because I thought they cast it perfectly when looking at it. You know, I mean, you know, they're not going to be just like the anime in their demeanor because that would not translate 100% well. But as far as the how they look, I thought for the most part you got it down. You know, and the casting of the actors, you know, they cast it for people who not only could act but looked the part. And I thought the Wachowskis directed them well. You know, Pops looks like Pops.
Especially
you
know?
John Goodman's really good. He really is Pops.
Yeah. You know, Sparky is one of the characters in there. For some reason, he's Australian in the movie. But like I said, you know, you can't translate everything literally over.
You can't. But my big beef with this is that it was a big part that they were young. They were practically teenagers, and which is why they made so many rash decisions. And here, everybody's 30-some years old.
Well, Emil Hirsch wasn't 30.
He's 28.
Yeah, it's, you know, and see, I guess I'm probably going to be a little more lenient than you are because I'm probably not as invested in Speed Racer. I thought that if the actors were giving me something and if they've directed well, then I'm okay with that. Because that's one of the things that I liked about the cast here. They didn't get people that just look the part. And a lot of times that happens in movies where they just cast people and they don't care how they look. Mm-hmm. But they look the part. And I thought that they did the Wachowskis directed them well, and I thought the actors did a great job because they gave them a lot of moments in the movie to act. The movie's way over the top. Movie, I mean, as it should be. You know, it's Speed Racer, but you know, there's some standout scenes in here. Like I thought John Goodman was great.
He was.
I thought John Goodman had a lot of time in these scenes to be able to act, and they didn't push it to where it was like, you know, it felt out of place because they were being too dramatic. You know, they actually tried to tell a story in some parts, not all the time, but at the moments that they did, that's one of the disappointing things about this for me is that, man, you have the potential to really tell a good story here because you had a lot of great actors to work with.
This is a choice. You're selling out, turning your back on everything we built here.
I'm done arguing with your pops.
Won't you turn your back on me?
I thought he was going to beat his ass.
Yeah,
well, you better turn around.
Yeah.
Expected to see a window next to you.
Yeah. Spread the ball.
Yeah. So here's where you and I are probably going to disagree the most right here because I really did like, and I thought this the moment I saw the trailer, I really did like Emile Hirsch as Speed Racer, and I really did like Christina Ricci as Trixie. I thought they were casted very well. And the reason why, because, and maybe this is why I can overlook their age, because I thought that they did, not only were the actors good separately, but I thought that they were good together.
Well, they're fine together. They do work well together. And Christina Ricci, I think is good. I do feel like she mostly got hired because she's got an anime look with big eyes.
Yeah, she sure does.
Tiny
Yeah,
nose.
she looked like Gizmo, a pretty ass Gizmo.
Fine ass Gizmo.
Fine ass Gizmo, yeah.
Tear that Gizmo up.
But with Emile Hirsch, I mean, and I don't know if it was just, I don't want to put it all on him. It's probably just the script itself or how he was directed. But he's so subdued to where everything else he's just a reaction to everything else, where he barely has agency. He's barely driving anything. It's all about everybody else around him doing stuff. And just for me, Speed Racer, so much of it, the enjoyment was watching him, and he was a driving force where, no pun intended, where Emile Hirsch's take on it is not. And I read about how he was excited about this and watched every episode so he could prepare for the part. And yet when I watch him, I'm like, yeah, you're not being Speed Racer here.
Him and Christina Ricci really did have a spark for me.
Sometimes a girl could use a reminder.
You mean like a new igniter for your helicopter?
Mm-mm.
Maybe we should practice.
Maybe we should.
Oh, God. I'm gonna hurl.
Cock blocking, son.
I know, he's like, he's drunk again, boy. I'll be goddamn, boy.
I'm gonna kill his ass. I'm gonna kill his ass. That damn monkey back there. That goddamn monkey back there.
But you heard when you say to him, are you ever going to check the trunk before we get there?
Right. Listen, this is happening way too often. Yeah. I almost feel like you want it to happen.
Speed, if you're gay, just say it.
Just say something. You have to keep hiding the monkey, your little brother in the trunk.
Yeah.
You can't just say it. You don't want this ass to say something.
Are you paying them to be
right, for real.
And some people said that it kind of hurt his career because the movie did not open well. The movie opened up in third place. It cost like $120 million to make. And by the end of his run, I think internationally, it didn't even break 100,000.
Yeah,
I think it made like 92,000. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it flopped. And it hurt Warner Brothers because it was such a financial flop. They tried to smile and say, "No, we sold toys." No, they'd be like, "Nah." And it did hurt some people's career. And it's funny that y'all brought that up, and thank you for bringing that up because one of the other people, and this is who I feel really bad for, because Emile Hirsch, he bounced back. He's fine, and this guy might be fine. But this was supposed to be his big cinematic, big movie break. Matthew Fox, man.
Right.
From Lost.
Coming off Lost, yeah.
And so this movie, and everybody thought too, everybody said, man, you know what? This movie's a hit. Then Matthew Fox, this is going to be great for him. And you know what? Again, I don't think he was bad. Now, like I said,
No, actually, I liked him a lot. And
I think like I said, I wasn't into Speed Racer as much as you were, but I did watch it. Mm-hmm. It came on in reruns when I was a kid on some other channel in syndication, and I did think that he got Racer X.
He did. He got him. He
got him down pretty well.
Thank you. You saved my life.
I didn't save anything worth saving unless you get smart real fast.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't get my car.
Right. You don't, huh? Look at your goddamn face.
Yeah.
Somebody
just get out of my goddamn car.
I can't be talking to you.
It was also supposed to be, I think, a big career launcher, at least acting wise, for Rain, who was an Asian pop star.
Oh, I didn't
know that.
Yeah, that was. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was Rain, right? That was sitting in the car with him. So I think that was supposed to be something that was big. it's supposed to be a big opportunity for him too. So this movie not being as successful as people thought it was going to be, really up a lot of people's plans.
Well, and with Matthew Fox, because with this, a lot of people were like, man, this has got to play Daredevil. There was a lot of talk about that, but I think he caught a domestic abuse charge.
Oh shit!
Right after that.
Oh, and Rain was they say it was a ninja in here, so I got the wrong guy. I think right there.
Oh,
But-
so Matthew Fox caught a case, you said?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I even like the character of Spritle, man. Spritle. He's played by a guy. Little kid's got a mafia name, man. Polly Lift.
Right.
Oh shit!
And I'm gonna tell you something.
He's full of spirit. I was like, you know what? This kid, he's going for it, and I appreciate that.
And he looks like a mob guy. Look, he looks like a Polly Lift.
He does.
He actually acts like a middle-aged old man or something. There's a moment where he sounds like that, and I just thought he was one of those kids who's kind of an old soul.
Yeah, yeah, he's that old kind of face, that young old face.
And he's got a demeanor to go with that old young face.
Spritle.
You little sneak. Wasn't my idea.
Oh no?
It was his.
Wait till we tell Pops.
No, don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Look into your heart. Don't do that.
Let's make a deal.
Yeah, man. Man, listen. Sometimes not to the whole movie. Sometimes they got on my nerves. But I thought there were a lot of moments where him and that chimp, they made a good team. Him and Chim.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. They have a lot of scenes, probably too many scenes.
Yeah.
But that kid is good. And I was like, man, if you could write these better and have few of them, this could really pop.
Yeah, because him and that damn monkey, they're good. And by the way, anytime you put two short people in a trench coat and have them put...
Oh, yeah. They do that gag?
They do that gag. That's a gag that always makes me laugh for some reason, man. Yeah, so the story here is all over the place, but a little part of it is that there is a racing corporation that is trying, of course, to get Speed Racer to come in, but the corporation is corrupt, and Speed is having second thoughts. So Speed is over there trying to get out of this. Meanwhile, Spritle's always showing up where he don't need to be. He's always sneaking in or showing up in places they don't know how he got there. Him and that chimpanzee, like nobody knows that there's a kid walking around with chimpanzee, but he sneaks into the corporation because they have candy. Yeah, and he's a sugar fiend. So he put on a trench coat and start walking around looking for the sugar.
Little sugar monster.
Yeah, he's a little sugar monster, man. They looking for the sugar and they get busted right here. And that gag always makes me laugh. I'm a sucker for two kids, a kid and a monkey in a trench coat.
He got that hat on and shit.
They can't keep the balance.
That's what makes me laugh. I'm about to fall over there. Drunk. Sugar,
that's why I'm already drunk off sugar right now. You're like, Daddy, would you have your face up his ass?
Yeah, I know.
Got shit on his mouth.
Yeah, like the chip is on his period.
Yeah, the chip.
I guess he's eating the chocolate, I guess.
Like the chip sat on his face and the ain't was all on his lips.
Like, God damn, man. I should have knew I should have been on top. I'm the one that wears pants.
He got so much shit on his face, he had to come out for a breather.
Peter Rook.
Yeah. Everybody knows. Come on, man. What's up, plan?
He looked at me up in there. Oh, you want this smoke right now?
Yeah. You want some of this smoke, boy? Yeah. Roll 2 sticks again, homie.
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah.
Walking up on me like you gonna do something. Fuck you walking up on me. Get your ass back.
You little close, baby. You want to start some static?
Walking up here like you work here or something. Oh, you do. Oh,
can I help you, motherfucker? He doesn't slow, too. Like,
hands up and down.
What's up, man?
Took his time, too.
Yeah, what's your name?
Oh, you think you somebody, huh? My face. I love this character. I like this character a lot. This actor's name is Roger Allam.
Yeah,
I think Roger Allam plays the head of the corrupt racing corporation, Royalton, and he plays the head guy, Royalton. And I just love him, man, because when he comes into the movie, like he's a villain, all right? You can already tell he's a straight up villain.
There's just nothing else about him except villain.
Villainy.
They should just name his character Villain.
Mad villainy is what's going on with him, man.
Villain.
But I love it because he comes in, you know he's a villain. Everybody know his ass is crooked. Everybody looking at him, they know he's up to no good.
He's got an ascot on, man.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. Yeah.
But he comes in trying to win everybody over with that British charm, man. He's playing that. And I mean, he's laying it on thick too. Like he flew in with flowers and cigars.
Mr. and Mrs. Racer, I hope you will forgive this imposition. Straight from the Isle of Camut, hand-rolled, premium blend.
And when John Goodman took me, like, what the f are these for? He wasn't buying it from the beginning. I mean, laying it on thick, comes in and making my racer feel good about her pancakes.
Gorgeous, Mrs. Racer.
Even that chip is like, you full of shit. Look at that shit. Look at that chip. He's like, you. Chim, I love, man.
But that's the thing. Him coming in like he does is like, man, if you're trying to convince people, tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, you up to something, right?
I mean, don't nobody love pancakes this much.
Density, hints of vanilla, cinnamon.
That's right.
Absolutely gorgeous.
I'll give you the recipe, Mr. Royalton.
Shit, give him some ass too.
Hey, what we still talking about pancakes?
John Goodman like, hey, cool it. Yeah, I don't like that smile.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Like, nobody else is buying this bullshit. What are you doing?
Yeah. Here with that.
She been doing this. She been doing that the whole time across the table.
Yeah. Bitch, you that easy? Pancakes, man? You better settle your ass down.
And the British dude, you going back in the room so we can finish talking business.
The British dude's like, I don't think we talking about pancakes anymore, Pops. I'm just to let you know.
Damn, you can't tell this fool's up and just try to get a free meal too. Oh my God. My man, you know, his kindness can only go so far. Right. This is what made me laugh because he's laying on thick. He's like, look, I didn't buy all this shit for nothing now.
Right.
All right. So what had me laughing is I told you, Pops already doesn't trust his fool, and Pops already pissed him off because Pops got real with him.
What's wrong, Mr. Racer?
Be honest, Royalton, I'm feeling more intimidated than impressed. This kind of company scares me. People like you have way too much money. When someone gets that kind of money, they start thinking that the rules everybody else plays by don't mean squat to them.
And my man was just like, you know what? All right, I'm going to let this slide because you don't make the decision. Speed does. So I'm going to let you just run your mouth right now. Y'all cool? Y'all still cool to stay here? Keep the suit, my man.
You see my man,
but so Pops already pissed him off, but he said, hey, Speed is the one I want to get the answer from. So when Speed came in and told his ass no, that's when my man said, all right, now I got to let the real me come out.
I don't mean to offend you, sir, and I do appreciate your offer. I don't think this kind of deal's for me.
You. He said, I had a feeling you might say some shit like that.
Say it again?
He said, he looked at it like, I was hoping you say some shit like that.
I got something for you.
I'm glad you said that shit. I got something for your ass.
You poor naive chump.
You like, bitch.
Yeah, wait, what?
Really? That's what had me laughing. Like he switched on him. He said chump.
Yeah.
And then he said, you know what? So I've tried to be nice, but I'm tired of you now.
You walk away from me, you walk away from this deal, you'll know how true it is soon enough. So last chance. You ready to put away your toys and grow up? Are you ready to make more money in 1 year than your father made in his whole life? Are you ready to become a real race car driver? Then sign that contract.
Sign that goddamn contract over there.
Yeah, no Mr. Nice Guy.
No more,
I tried to be reasonable with it.
Yep. This man went from flowers and cigars and suits to pancakes to cinnamon, vanilla to you ain't shit.
Get this racer trash out of my building.
I'll see you in Fuji.
Yes.
Yeah. I will see your ass. I will see you first.
I got more money than your bitch ass. Yeah, man. Somebody said in the chat, and tell your mama her pancakes taste like shit.
Yeah.
the CG is a problem. It's a problem on a lot of levels. One, the CG that we have in here, and this is where I was talking about, well, I think you might have a problem with some of these characters because it's not Speed Racer.
No.
It's that, so don't think I didn't see your point. I completely 100% agree with you. It is not Speed Racer. A lot of this stuff, when you look at it, and this is what it was compared to at the time also, because this came out in 2008. The movie that it was compared to came out 7 years earlier, 2001. A lot of people said it's Spy Kids. It's Spy Kids with a lot more money.
How long does it take at Racer Motors?
Several weeks at least.
Shut the
Was he talking to you?
I didn't want to bring your dumb ass.
You aren't even part of this family.
He's like, I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to do a mistake right here.
I would have just pushed him off that damn cart right there. Now, you combine that colorful CG look, which, listen, I don't even know if I would have minded it as much if it was another property. But again, or if it was a Spy Kids movie, which pretty is much in some parts.
Because with the Spy Kids movie, you have everything green screen, and they don't do much to hide that fact. They almost revel in it.
Yeah.
Which is what this is kind of doing. Like, we get green screen stuff now, but they take the extra pain to try to integrate it.
Yeah. So, Spy Kids meant to look, it was meant to look like, toys. Toys come to life in a way, at least humans playing on toy sets. This is kind of the same, but I mean, even compared to Spy Kids, I think it still even outdoes that because they just go overboard. Because if you combine the CG that we see with all the layers that they stack on top of it, the copying and the pasting, and the transitions. Oh, they do these transitions over and over again. It can get a little overwhelming at some point.
As you know, a T180 driver's got to be in peak physical condition. No expenses spared to ensure that when our drivers suit up, they are as perfectly tuned as the machines they are controlling.
It's not just the CG. I can deal with the CG. I can even deal with it being this colorful and being this outlandish if it fits the theme. And if this is what they were going for, and they were, which is why, to me, it worked in some parts, probably not as well, though, for a Speed Racer movie. But it's not just the CG that's bothering me here. It's the art direction. Because what the Wachowski brothers at the time, what they did was they combined a lot of different styles. They said, we don't want to just make this anime. We'll put some of that in there. But this is what I just read online. So if I'm incorrect about this, please let me know. And I could be. But they want to combine a lot of feeling of pop art. There's a lot of mid-century modern that's put in here. And they just said, you know what? And this is where it really got off track, I believe. They said, we don't want to just make this Speed Racer. We want to combine movies that we just like.
Yeah.
We want to put other anime in there, like Akira, or just the hell with anime. We want to put in like Tron, but you can see some of the, like, again, the mid-century modern influences and the pop art influences here, which reminded me, and they didn't mention this, but reminded me of something like Dick Tracy.
That's exactly what I thought about.
Now get dressed.
The primary
Now
colors.
Your father's breakfast is ready.
It was a virtuoso display of talent, the likes of which has not been seen at Thunderhead since Racer the Elder dropped Jaws 8 years ago.
The way Dick Tracy is made, it was like somebody was like, man, I always loved that Dick Tracy was a comic strip, and I want to make a Dick Tracy movie. And oh yeah, I used to read Dick Tracy a lot. No, I never really read it, but I know it's got kooky villains and it's colorful because it's a comic strip.
Yeah.
And that was just the aesthetic it went with. And that seems to be the thing here. Like, I know these three things about it, and I'm going to pump that up to the 10th degree.
But that's where it kind of went off to me.
Yeah.
So when you start, and you can see it, because before I read about what they were doing, I said, well, shit, this looks like Tron. And see, that's not Speed Racer, man.
Because these races, they were more like a Nintendo game. Like Super Mario Kart or something.
All right, F-Zero or something like that. Yeah, this is, the Wachowskis just want to do anything, man. They have free reign. And keep in mind that they're still at the height of their career when the studios are saying, we trust you, take all the money and all the time you want, and you have our permission to go crazy with it. People love you.
Matrix, two Matrix movies.
Yeah, the last time you did whatever you wanted to do with no studio interference, we got The Matrix, the biggest movie of all time. So go ahead, do that again.
Yep.
Catch more lightning in that bottle.
And so then they just started doing, they said, well, it's anime. And they started doing homages to anime, but anime that was not Speed Racer. They started doing actually the what we can consider now to be just generic anime references and homages where people are fighting with the speed lines going on behind them. You know, and even at the time, that was something that was, I think, kind of lazy to do. All right, goddamn y'all. Now y'all just doing anything.
Yeah. Was that a dream you had?
No, they were watching an anime and then they just started fighting on the couch. And I guess they were imagining themselves being those anime characters. But it's just like, this shit, now you're doing Dragon Ball Z.
Right. Like, who is this supposed to be entertaining for? When they were doing stuff like this, especially there's another fight later with everybody. And it was like, this is like Ang Lee's Hulk. Where it's like, hey, it's a comic book, so I'm gonna have comic book panels. Or I'm gonna have anime scenes. And it's like,
so I'm just gonna throw anything in there. Which, when you just start referencing anything, that's lazy, you know. Are you not really trying to? You know, they're doing. Let me tell you this: they're doing everything but fucking Speed Racer in here. You know what I mean? They making every movie but the movie that they supposed to be making. Yeah, every now and then Speed Racer will come out.
Every so often.
So often, but they making every goddamn movie out there but Speed Racer.
Oh, you know what it is though? They got the one thing from Speed Racer and they said, we're gonna use the shit out of this. And it's the sound effect for the automatic jack. That knock, 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 knock.
Oh,
knock.
yeah.
They use the shit out of that.
I'm not one of those people who's like a cult fan of this, but like I said, I see. Let me just say this, and I'm going to tell you this in a little while. I see where things are working if I do pull myself out of this as a Speed Racer fan, but you really have to apply it to something else, and which is, you know, not really that easy to do for people who come to see a Speed Racer movie. Or like I said, if you haven't, then maybe it could. I'm going to tell you why I think this could work if you look at it a different way. But first, we have to give a word to our sponsor real quick. If you don't mind, shit, we've been hit with so much CG right now, we could use a little break.
No kidding.
Man, exactly. I want to thank our sponsor right now, Sunday Lawn. You know, some of y'all who grew up with Speed Racer, some of y'all who watched Speed Racer back in your 20s and your 30s, well, now y'all grown people now. You're responsible. You got a home, you got kids, you got a wife or not.
And you still watching Speed Racer.
Yeah, you still watching Speed. Hey, but you'll always have Speed Racer. But thing is, with that lawn, you know, if you got a house, that means that, hey, you know what? Y'all see the sun is out now. At least here it is. It is in Texas. That means it's time to get that lawn straight. And you don't want to have no raggedy looking lawn. You want to have a nice looking lawn. Some of you want to have the best looking lawn in the neighborhood. But you, listen, you know, you're busy. No one can put in all that work. Some people don't even have the mind to put into that. Well, that's where Sunday Lawn Care comes in and says, hey, we got you. You don't have to make any trips to the store because, you know, if you've done your own lawn work, that means you go over to Home Depot all the time. You're buying bags of mulch, soil, fertilizer, and sometimes you got to make more than one trip. It costs a lot of money to do all that. Well, with Sunday Lawn, all you need is a hose to apply the Sunday Lawn Care. You can fertilize your whole lawn in less time it takes to probably watch this review right here. Less time it takes to, people saying, well, it takes, you know, I can do anything. And less time than it takes to watch this review. Right. But you're watching a TV show or something, it takes less time to do that. In other words, you have a lot of free time on your hands without having to worry about your lawn. Pixie runs with the bugs. You know, she's so small. Mm-hmm. You know, she's in the grass. So, you know, if I put some chemicals out there, that's going to be bad for her. I don't want her swimming in those chemicals out there. You don't want your kids mingling with that. So what you do is you apply Sunday Lawn Care, and it does not take long for you to start enjoying your yard again. You don't have to worry about your kids or your pets going out there playing in harsh chemicals. And yeah, you're like, that's cool. Let's get to the money part. Well, you know, if you have a lawn, you know, it could take $1,000 plus to sometimes go out there and get that lawn looking the way you want it to. Not with Sunday Lawn Care. With Sunday Lawn Care, you have a plan that starts at just $109. So here's what I want you to do. You've already heard all the benefits. You heard how inexpensive it is. I'm going to go back to what I told you earlier. Go to getsunday.com Speedracer.com/toasted to get 50% off your first box. Going to be the envy of the neighborhood. Everybody talk about, hey, look at, have the lawn, and I want y'all, a lot of people too. Tell them it costs about $1,500 to get that lawn done, but we know the secret. And I want to thank Sunday Lawn Care for coming in and supporting this part of the show. And I want to thank all of you out there for your support. Now, like I say, I did like some of the CG here. I did like some of the art direction when I'm not looking at it as a Speed Racer movie, because I think that's where it would have worked better. See, the thing is with Speed Racer, this Speed Racer that we have here, it has this sci-fi look that was never in the show. Mm-hmm. Now, you know, I looked at some of this and I said, I don't know, you know, I think it's cool if it worked in, I don't know, maybe another property like... I don't know, that looks kind of like the Jetsons to me or something. I really did like the concept of the racetracks, man. Now, you know, sometimes they can get too crazy because they just, again, the Wachowskis, and I'll explain to you why in a little bit, they just went wild, man. They really did have like an anything goes type attitude. So you just get weird images in there and you're like, what is that?
Now driving in the 40th and final position.
he was like, what the hell? Like if you look over in the
corner,
you see that Indian dude?
Dude, I saw him.
You see? Okay, so you caught that.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say that because I was like, I was wondering if you had something about that.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, I'm ready.
Who got that good shit?
Yeah.
What's he doing?
He look like he's playing with his balls or something.
Yeah.
Now driving
Yeah, them zooms.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
That shit just kicked in. Yeah. And that's Richard Roundtree, aka Shaft, that was in this, man.
But what's that? Is the Indian dude just... Oh, okay, it's nothing?
It's nothing, yeah.
Okay, I just was wondering.
Just a dude over there just looking crazy. Yeah, just looking stupid, yeah. Yeah, so they're playing with his nuts, man. I don't give a fuck about camera.
He's like, what?
Yeah. Everybody's like, what the hell is that guy doing?
Richard Roundtree looks legit. He pissed off.
Yeah.
It's just like, I mean, come on, guys.
I'll beat his ass if you don't stop that.
Yeah. I know I see what I just thought I saw what I saw.
But if this was another property, the crazy tracks, because that's what they do in the movie. You know, if you've seen the film, I've even seen the trailer, you know that they've taken the racetracks and the movie is about racing. They have about 3, maybe 4, what do you call them? Highlights or, you know what I'm trying to say. Set pieces. Yeah. They have about 3 or 4 racing set pieces in here and they all get more wild than the other. They're wilder than the other.
Like a video game.
Yeah, like a video game. Or, I was thinking, man, if you ever want to make a movie, a live action movie based on one of my favorite cartoons growing up, you know what I'm thinking of.
And now here they are, the most daredevil group of daffy drivers to ever whirl their wheels in the Wacky Races. Rufus Roughcut and Sawtooth in the Buzzwagon.
See, now,
I used to love this cartoon.
This Speed Racer turned into the Wacky Races.
Especially when they do the cross-country race. It is exactly that.
Yes, Martin, the cross-country race. So you saw how the Wacky Races were racing, man. A lot of times they took their races to the desert. Mm-hmm. So they're doing this cross-country racing. And not only are they out in the desert like the Wacky Races, but they're driving crazy cars. Mm-hmm. They got these...
They're sabotaging each other.
They're sabotaging. Yeah. They got these crazy racers.
Snake Oiler! Let's pinch these turns off!
Snidely Whiplash.
Yeah. This is definitely Wacky Races.
Dick Dastardly. Yeah, I would say Dick Dastardly. Yeah. Dick Dastardly and Mudley.
Yeah.
But the characters get crazier. Like they do in the Wacky Races, man. Like, for no reason, you got barbarians driving cars. Black barbarians driving cars. Yeah. And you can see, like, they got an army dude driving a tank-like car.
And these races come across like a kid on a Hot Wheels track. Like, they got a bunch of Hot Wheels cars. And you know how they make specialty cars, like like the Red Baron. Yeah. And like they were just like, and this one does this. Oh, I'm crashing you, but then I flip over.
Yeah.
And just keep on going.
But see, I had fun with this part. I'd like, all right, you're over the top. It's just not a speed racing movie. So like I said, I understand where you're coming from. You see this, like, well, that's not the movie I came to see. Now, I had fun with it because now I'm looking at it like the Wacky Races, because Martin was right. It turns into a straight-up cartoon. Like, they just start sabotaging each other in these just like silly ass ways. Like one dude just threw bees on somebody. Had a beehive ready in a catapult.
Watch the blind side.
Yeah, got that ass.
Yeah. You know what? And it was the exactly the kind of beehive you see in cartoons.
Yeah.
The big thick one with the honey already coming out.
Yeah.
The honey.
That's right.
The honey go out there.
I love that scream.
Yeah.
Wait, did you notice how everybody's doing all this sabotage? And when they did something, it was always like, oh, they cheating. Oh, watch out.
Oh, yeah.
But the minute Speed would do the same shit to somebody, they were like, well, hey, that's how you got to roll.
Well, we weren't cheating because everybody was doing car food in this. Because it was acceptable to like kick people with your cars.
Yeah,
and do
ram
flips
into them on purpose.
But throwing a snake on somebody, no, that ain't happening.
Oh my God!
He tried to kill that fool.
Yeah. First off, he threw a cobra at him. It wasn't just a snake; that was a cobra. So he's like, oh shit!
And I just came here to win some prize.
He drove his ass off a cliff.
But he threw a cobra on his ass, so he was gonna die one way or the other. You get bit by that cobra. Get bit the whole way down and shit.
I love it, man. I was enjoying this part of the movie. I'm not gonna lie. Cobra went down looking straight at it.
Oh shit!
So I was having fun with this. Like I was having genuine fun. This is one of the reasons why I turned around on. I was like, well, I'm watching this at home. It reminds me. I have to get out of my head that I'm not watching Speed Racer. I'm watching another film. I got real laughs from this part. So again, I can see why some people enjoy it. But at the same time, I can see why some people do not.
I think I could go where you are if it had been a special. If it had been like, hey, an hour-long special, I'd go with it.
Well, again, that's one of the problems with the movies, right?
Yeah.
This movie, it's too long, which we'll come back to in a little bit. You mentioned Hot Wheels a little while ago. See, I thought this could have been a Hot Wheels movie.
Oh, it totally could have been.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, I wish they had made a Hot Wheels movie like this because they're, like you said, Martin, where you can just keep jumping your cars and flipping them all over the place. The movie built tracks meant for leaping and jumping.
He's taking on all comers. Give up. There goes over under. I told you.
See, now you saw the car food that they were doing.
Yeah.
So that's something that they do in the movies.
Ran their ass into
Everybody
the
does.
sun.
Yeah. Now, see, here's the biggest problem with the movie for me. Why even with me liking some parts of this film, why I don't think it works. Mainly it suffers from excess because the Wachowskis, again, if I read this correctly, they want to do something. They didn't want to make a Speed Racer movie. That's why it's not Speed Racer. They want to. They use that just as an excuse to just play. They want to make an avant-garde film. So you took $120 million for a kids movie and decide to make an art film, which is a mistake to me.
Yeah.
But
hey, it feels like they took advantage of the studio.
yeah, that's that's why they mixed all these styles together. That's why they mixed all these movies in, because they said, you know what, if I want to make a Tron movie, I'm going to make a Tron movie. If I want to make, an Andy Warhol movie, I'm going to make an Andy Warhol. If I want to make a Hot Wheels movie, I'm going to make a Hot Wheels movie. They just mixed all these things together.
They steal a scene straight from a James Bond movie.
Yeah, so they even said we're more visual than story. We're coming at this from a more visual angle. They even showed the execs over at Warner Brothers, and they said, is this? They say, Jesus Christ, this is weird. And they're like, yeah, we know, right? And they're like, no, you're playing with our money. And they did, but it was too late. They were just kind of like, well, we spent the money. We guess you know what you're doing. I mean, you made the Matrix, so.
Every time the studio department said something, they were like, hey, can we check those Matrix numbers again, just real quick? I just want to see how much they made this year. Go back and do your thing. That's what because they had them on the thumb.
Right. Yeah.
That's a contract. It's a contract.
Yeah. And the movie's too long, man. Like this, you saw this. This is a kid's movie, y'all. And I commend the Wachowskis, just like I commend Robert Rodriguez for being able to like make adult stuff and then go off and make kids stuff. I like that. And it's straight up a kid's movie, right down to like putting in cartoon sound effects. Up with his leg. Get your ass off me.
That kid is cute.
Yeah, he had the horn and everything. Yeah, man. But if you're making a kids movie, I don't think 2 hours and 15 minutes, unless it's Star Wars or something, 2 hours and 15 minutes was not the right approach. Again, very self-indulgent, very excessive. Like they got scenes that just cartoonish scenes that just go on way too long. You could also notice a little bit of Scott Pilgrim in there too. Now I didn't know when Scott Pilgrim came out. I don't even think they're like trying to copy Scott Pilgrim.
It's just trying to copy anime with the speed lines and
which was what Scott Pilgrim did.
Yeah.
This goes on and on and on. Again, if you're having fun with it, that might be all right. But
we got it.
Yeah.
Well, at least they remember that Pops was a wrestler. Right?
Yeah,
they
did.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I see him doing all the wrestling moves.
There's a scene where he spins a dude around.
I used to love that move in cartoons.
He always did that.
Yeah. And they put that in there. So I mean, they got some things right. You know, there were some things. That's what I'm saying. They got some things that they did pay attention to Speed Racer, and they brought it in, and they did try to stay true to some of the characters as much as possible. But I think another problem here is that, man, and I know they do this in anime where the characters talk and they give a lot of exposition and flashbacks, but that's anime. There's a live action movie right here that's already too goddamn long. They have a lot of exposition in flashbacks. And, okay, so it wouldn't be a problem if you did maybe 1 or 2.
So I sat with him there watching old Ben Burns coming around the last turn of the 43 pre, and for the finish, we were cheering our heads off.
And that's okay, fine. That's Speed's story. That's something that needs to be told. But that story goes on for a long time. And I'm not exaggerating. A minute after he tells that story, the villain comes up and says, "You finished? Okay, shit, it's my turn." and then he starts to give his backstory.
But who remembers Carl Potts' petty finish? So bad that afterwards
Sorry,
you're not laughing there.
He's running sideways.
Yeah, he running with his ass on fire. Yeah, he running with his ass stuck in.
So bad that afterwards iodine stock dropped 6 points.
And they do this one after another several times in the movie. It's making the movie longer than what it needs to be. And by the way, the movie's done. All right. And they've already done everything they need to do, and they still doing exposition and flashbacks.
Can I ask you a question?
Like, oh hell, we were all about to go home.
He looking too.
He's like, but since you asked,
no, I guess.
I mean, I don't want to tell this story, but ask.
Do you ever think you made a mistake hiding the truth from them?
He's like, shit, I just want to go home. Now I gotta wait for this goddamn transition and flashback to be done.
You expected to check together? Yeah, you're like, I asked you a yes or no question.
You gonna answer me this whole time? You've just been spacing out there for the last 20 minutes.
Shit, I've heard this story so many times. I just want to leave.
He looks like
I just want to go home.
Come on, man.
He's gonna beat his ass. Beat you like I beat my wife. The transitions, they're cool at first. But after a while, it gets to be just a little overused. And especially when you start getting transitions on top of transitions, stacked on top of transitions, where it's just like, you see the same person looking at himself talking and sliding. Like, you get 3 of the same person on screen at one time telling his story.
The new GRX, 100 kilometers an hour.
If such a car were to win the Grand Prix this year.
Wait, how'd you get over here?
One might expect that company to do very well for itself.
You know what I want.
They just keep getting sillier and sillier, man. They just had the character just come in, just start saying ridiculous things in these transitions.
Speed Racer is knocking on the door of Cannonball Taylor.
Yoo-hoo, anybody home? Look, man, you're not gonna take this shit seriously.
Yeah.
He just wants you to just go home.
And because the Wachowskis are able to do whatever they want to do, they just have some real don't give a moments here, man. I tell you, I like Spritle. They don't. I like, it's very self-indulgent. Like I said, I like the character Spritle. I like that actor. I like Chim, man. They're a good team, but there are moments where they just They just let them go and allowed them in the Wachowskis and that kid just got as stupid as they want to, man. There's that scene where my man had a sugar overdose.
Look at him, he going off.
Yeah, he's going off, man. And he just went crazy in that hallway, man. They couldn't catch his ass. And, yeah, and it's just stuff that's just happening that makes no sense. Like they're playing Leonard Skinner for no reason.
Yeah.
What? And he's riding on a Segway, and he just and it's sped up, and he's playing air guitar, and it's like none of this shit. Man. Yeah, no, okay. You know what? Let me just show you, man. He's making the Chim go crazy like he's playing air guitar.
Yeah, he's doing it right. Oh, that's that.
You get.
Yeah. So I guess he got all hopped up on sugar and stuff, fucking around.
Sugar and stuff went crazy, man.
That king or that.
Yeah. And I was going to mention that because he's driving that Chim crazy, man. Apparently, there was a report of animal abuse on the set.
Yeah.
Peter had to come in. So he's like, half the time, that Chimp don't want to be here doing this shit, man.
Right.
He's like, I'm tired of this shit. What the hell is going on? I'm sick of this shit.
trying to keep it going.
I thought the Chimp was having a good time. He's like, yeah.
And we just about finished, y'all. But check it out. So...
Oh my God.
So, and really, we're about to wrap this up, but you heard us not talk about story, and that's because story is really not a lot of story there. No. It's just, there's a simple story, like Speed trying to be wooed in by this corrupt racing corporation, but then they throw in other characters, man, and the other characters are kind of, but they're characters that feel like they are out of the Speed Racer cartoon.
Yeah, the gangsters.
The gangsters, yeah. But the gangsters don't really have a whole lot. They just kind of...
They disappear for a long time. When they come back, you're like, oh, I forgot you guys are part of this.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, now I don't know how you fit into everything that's been going on.
They're making the speeding... they're making the racing sport more corrupt.
Yeah.
They're adding to it. But really what they're doing is they're just making this movie more convoluted.
This is called a change of plan. Yeah, they changed our plan to change your plan. Right, boss?
If you saw them, they're all wearing, they're dressed like the characters in the show, are in theme with the show. But yeah, man, it's just a more convoluted story. There's not really telling anything. And that's, for me, even for me enjoying some of this movie, I believe, and for those who enjoy the movie, that's I respect that, I do. But I do think that the Wachowskis did a great misstep by coming in and just deciding we're just going to do whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
We are not, they intentionally said, we are not making a Speed Racer movie. We're making everything.
I know. And as much as I used to accuse Tim Burton of that, he's never as bad as this.
Even at the end of the movie, they just let that damn... Let that monkey go, man.
Mm-hmm.
Doing like the end credits, they just let that chimpanzee just lose his goddamn mind. Yeah, he just let his ass go.
Yeah, he sure did. Going crazy.
That, you know what? That's the movie.
That sums up the movie.
This right here sums up the movie, man. It's the movie right there.
Yeah.
Well, Martin and I might disagree on how much we like the movie. I definitely liked it more than him, and I do have a lot of respect and like what they did with a lot of the movie as far as from a visual point of view. But I think we both agree, movie has a lot of problems.
Yeah. I mean, hats off to the production and the costume designer, but the rest of it, not so much.
Yeah. So there you go, y'all.